Welcome to Berlin. Germany's capital is the third most often visited city in Europe after London and Paris. Some visitors like it so much they decide to return and live here. Like James Glazebrook and Zoe Noble. 3 years ago they moved from London to Kreuzberg, a trendy Berlin district.
Berlin's the best place for us to live because it has everything. I mean, you can go out and party at 3 a.m. Or you can go and see some amazing parks like Tiergarten or Tempelhof and just see some beautiful sights as well.
It feels very DIY. People kind of, if there's not a club that they like going to, they'll just make their own and kind of create their own culture.
James and Zoe report on their life in their new home on their blog, Berlin. Initially planned just for friends and relatives in Britain, today it gets 40,000 hits a month. One of the couple's favorite topics is the peculiarities of the Berlin native.
They don't really care what anyone else thinks about what they're wearing. They will go out wearing pajamas and take their dog for a walk, which I've seen.
Another typically Berlin reputation is like the Berliner Schnauzer. So the fact that people here are kind of seem rude, but I think it's not a rudeness, it's just like partly kind of German directness.
James Glazebrook, Zoe Noble and an Australian friend have now published a book about the Germans.
My favourite point from the book is definitely that Germans are completely fine with nudity. We have friends who've gone to spas and they've not realised that these are completely nude spas. And I think it's great. It's really great that, you know, they can just go to a lake and just get one with nature.
The idea of non-Germans approaching the country by observing and commenting on its residents is nothing new. For years, there has been a boom in books that take on German stereotypes. That surely has to do with the growing popularity of the German capital. More and more young people from abroad are moving to Berlin. There are now at least 40,000 expats from English-speaking countries in the city. There's even a thriving expat scene with its own cafes and clubs. Some newcomers organize themselves on online forums. There are cultural magazines by and for expats, English language bookshops, and even an annual cultural festival organized by the newcomers.
I come from France. I'm staying here for a year and I want to stay longer.
I'm from Scotland. I've been here about 3.5 years.
I wanted to come and stay for 90 days on a tourist visa and learn a little bit of German and just really liked it here and decided to stay.
Like, you have the benefits of being in a big city, there's so much going on, but it's not got like the crazy rush that you have in London or in New York.
It's Berlin, you're living in the time. It's where things are happening at the moment. It's not in any other place in Europe.
Here there is enough space to be and to do whatever you want.
The new arrivals have a tight network and often live in a bubble without much contact with native Berliners. Many of them don't even speak German.
In certain areas, English is actually the most common language, which is why you get places like this where the staff are mostly Australian and speak English to each other all the time.
Because you do hear English, Australian, Swedish, rather than German, which is weird. But when you step outside the doors, I mean, we're in Neukölln, you step outside and you're instantly back into Germany.
James Glazebrook and Zoe Noble have resolved to make learning German their top priority. They even like Berlin so much, they're thinking of staying for good.